today we have Dan Bueno, who's a retired air traffic controller and was working on 9/11, talking to some of the planes. So with that being said, Dan, if I can ask you to, if you wouldn't mind coming up here.
And like he said, I'm Dan Bueno, air traffic controller, traffic manager controller. That was my position of record was I was a supervisor of traffic management when 9/11 happened. Any pilots here?
We have an ex-air traffic controller.
Yes. Wow. That's never an ex, always
No,
an
former.
That's right, former. But so how air traffic works, if you guys know anything about it, I mean, it's basically a big sky theory, right? And you have designated spaces that are controlled by individual people. So it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, and you transfer communications and the plane from one sector to the other sector, and it goes on across the country. And as a kid, I was always interested in just aviation, and then I went in the Air Force thinking I was going to be an air traffic controller. I became a radio operator, which is a little secondary to air traffic control. But I was a supervisor of traffic management. I was in the traffic management support there. And my job as a traffic manager is to ensure that the sectors don't get overloaded. So I'm constantly just tweaking, giving this guy a little bit more, take it away from this guy, and so it's all manual. You can't, and it's the best job you could ever get. It's just so much fun, and because you're constantly doing the balancing and checking and performing, at a high level. And the controllers, you either make or break the controllers, because I mean, either you give them too much traffic and they end up holding, and it becomes chaotic, or if you give them too few, they're bored, they don't want to, So you always want to keep these guys charged and ready to go. So just to get to the point of 9/11, again, most of you guys know where you were when 9/11 happened. It was very surreal. I mean, I think it was a very interesting day, beautiful, clear sky, New England day, and air traffic at that time was moving at a pretty rapid pace. I mean, it was just quick. And we had just finished our morning rush right around 8 o'clock, and everything's working fine till one of the supervisors runs down and he says, "Hey, I think we have a hijacking progress." I'm like, "What?" So I jump on the phone, call Terry back. He runs back, and everything starts to happen. And what we're seeing is initially what happened was American 11 that departed Boston was going on his way to California. He's going out via Bosox. What sector I guess I should have told you the facility I work in is Nashua. So, and that's controls the airspace like from northern Maine to Long Island all the way to Syracuse. So that's a big geographical area. So anyway, and I worked in traffic management, which oversees the five areas that work air traffic. So I'm not an air traffic controller at that point. I'm a traffic manager. So the supervisor comes over and tells me of the hijacking progress. I go over to the scope to look at it, and it's American 11, and we see that the airplane's just going on its way, and that he lost communications with him. So as it's going, we're kind of looking at him, he's tracking towards like Albany. The next thing we see, it's his transponder, the digital signature that's on the scope, that goes off. So now it's just a little blip, just a little tiny target. So it's because it's not, the radar's not paying anything. It's just seeing the actual airframe. When you have the digitized code, you get a code associated with the call sign, the speed, the altitude. All these are associated with it. So anyway, so we lose that, and we're saying, geez, maybe it's a catastrophic electrical failure. So we're kind of like setting ourselves up for that, make a couple of phone calls, and as it's going along, all of a sudden it makes a hard left turn towards the south. And we're like, well, that's weird. And we kind of knew about the air traffic, I mean, the possible hijack. So now we're thinking, okay, it's a hijack, and he's gonna go down to Kennedy, look for money, and dump the passengers and head out. So that was our frame of mind of a hijack. So, let's see. So as we're looking at this, protocol is to go to the Northeast Air Defense and call to have fighters scrambled. I jumped the gun, I guess. I went and called Otis Air Force Base before that happened and said, hey, look, just as a heads up, I need 2 fighters to depart out of Otis out in the Cape and go out to Hampton down to New York. Just as the call will come in from Northeast Air Defense as soon as I'm done with you. I just want to give you just a heads up that's coming. And he said, yeah, okay. And then, so a friend of mine he kind of just walks in the door, and he was the military coordinator. Said, hey, situation's happening here, go out there and do the coordination for me. He's like, okay, and that kind of is happening as everything is moving. So I called the Cape Cod, the Otis Air Force Base, and tried to scramble some fighters. Next thing, another friend of mine, and we're all friends, obviously, they had sent him to the tape room to see what happens, what communications was happening, that they found out that he was a hijack. There was a hijack in progress. And he runs back and gets the tape and plays it back, and you can hear Muhammad Atta saying, we have more planes. And I listened to this, like, oh, geez, I gave it to Terry and said, hey, you got to listen to this, and this is where we start seeing, like, hey, there's something else going on. A lot of coordination going back and forth, talking to New York, talking to Washington Center, talking to New York Tracon, all this. And as the flight's progressing southwest bound, where United 175 departs also. And we're not aware that he's a hijack. So we're trying to find out the altitude or of the American 11, because we have no digital readout that what altitude he's at. We don't know if he's at 30,000 feet, 20,000 feet, so we're trying to get pilot reports. Anyway, we're tracking the American 11, and as you're looking at the targets, it's getting like closer and closer and closer. So I called up New York Tracon, Washington Center, and the command center, and I said, hey, the targets are getting closer. I think it's descending. And so I said that New York Tracon is the facility that works all the New York airports, New York, Kennedy, LaGuardia, all those. And he said, oh, yeah, we'll take care of it, and it's okay. And then as soon as I get off the phone, I get a call from New York Center, the facility to the south of us, and says, hey, we have a hijack in progress. I said, yeah, I just told you that. And he says, no, another one. I says, oh, my God.